how do you find a good rental property? So maybe you've saved up your down payment, you have pretty good credit, you've decided you want to invest in real estate, you even got your pre-qualification letter from a lender so that you can buy a property. But the problem is, how do you find a good one to purchase? Now, maybe you've been looking at your market, you might have even talked to some real estate agents, but you're really not finding anything that just jumps out at you as this is the one that you should buy to get started. Maybe you're looking at moving into a new market, or this is your first ever rental property. If you want these questions answered, then stay tuned to this video because we're going to talk about how to determine which type of real estate is best for you, and then how to actually find it and make the purchase. So for most folks watching this video, they're probably stuck between single-family homes and small multifamily, a duplex to a fourplex, and they're asking themselves which one is best and which one should I invest in. And the truth is that each market is going to be a little bit different. Now, in order to figure out which one is best for your market, you're going to need to get comfortable calculating a cash-on-cash return, or the yield metric. Essentially, it's an interchangeable term. They mean the same thing. All that is you're going to take your profit after all of expenses for the year and divide that by the cost to acquire the property, your original down payment, and your closing costs. That's going to help you calculate your yield, or your cash-on-cash return. Once you've calculated that, you'll be able to figure out which type of property in your market is doing better. Now, if you want a video on how to calculate cash-on-cash return, I'll put a link to one in the description below. But for this video, I'm going to assume that you know how to calculate cash-on-cash returns and yield, and you need to figure out if small multifamily, duplexes through fourplexes, or single-family homes are doing better in your market. Now, I'm going to add one other layer of complexity to this. They can change. For a couple of years, one may be doing better than the other, so you need to be constantly evaluating and assessing your market to figure out which one is better, and if you need to switch back and forth, please do so. That being said, there's always an opportunity for you to either find an off-market deal or a really good deal that does perform better than what you've possibly been looking at. But the point of choosing one or the other is so you can begin to narrow your focus on what you want and which type of rental property you're looking at, so that you can actually become an expert at it and find a good rental property for you. So let's say you decided which one is better for you. You've settled on single-family homes. That's what you're going to invest. But now you're trying to figure out, now how do I find the right one? If I go to Realtor.com and type in single-family homes in either my city or my zip code, there's so many of them. So here are the steps that I would take if I was you trying to figure out which rental property is best for me to buy. The first thing I want to do is actually begin to learn my market. I need to be looking at my market at least 5 times a week. If you're not looking at least 5 times a week, you're going to miss out on really good deals. Most of the best deals that are going to pop up on your market are going to come on and go off within 12 hours. And this is pretty universal, pretty much anywhere you look in the country. Like you and like me, there's lots of other real estate investors out there looking every single day. And when that one great deal pops up, they're very quick to swoop in with all cash or a pre-qualification letter. So if you want to be competitive, you need to look frequently. 10 to 15 minutes a day is all that you need to do to actually be current with your market. You're going to figure out which properties sell for more and are more used for investments. Probably a good thing to do is to go on Craigslist and look in your market for which type of properties are getting rents that you want to be able to get at the purchase price you're looking at. Maybe you're looking to buy a house for $150,000 and using the 1% rule, which I don't advocate for, but it's a rule that most people know, so we'll use it for the sake of the example. Using the 1% rule, you're hoping to get $1,500 a month in rent. Well, what type of properties are more likely to get $1,500 a month in rent? A 1-bedroom, a 2-bedroom? Probably not. You're probably looking at a 3-bed 1 or maybe even a 3-bed 2 in order to get $1,500 a month in rent at a $150,000 to $200,000 purchase price. Obviously, there's very expensive markets where a 1-bedroom can get $3,000 a month if you're living in Seattle like me. That aside, we're going to probably look at a more average type market where a $150,000 purchase price can hopefully get you $1,500 a month in rent. So what type of house will command that type of rent? Probably a 3-bed, 4-bed with a 1-bath or 1.5 to 2-bath. That's probably going to be your best bet. Another reason why these types of properties make really great rentals is if they're too big, 4-bed, 3-bath, 5 bedrooms, the types of folks who can afford to pay a lot of rent for those larger properties are probably the types of folks who can just afford to buy a house, and they're more likely to move out. Likewise, if you're looking at 1-bedroom, studio apartments, or even 2 beds, they're so small that any family looking to grow is going to have to move into a larger rental property in order to expand their family, and they're less likely to stay in that rental for longer. This is why I try to avoid 2 bedrooms or smaller. I also try to avoid 4 or 5 bedrooms and larger. I want to be right in there in that 2 to 4 bedroom area. And I only buy a 2-bedroom if it has a finished attic or a finished basement that can be used as an extra room. That way it's sort of like a 3-bedroom. But really the 3-bedroom, 1-bath or 3-bedroom, 1.5 bath is your sweet spot, in my opinion, for your best rentals. The number one reason you want to focus on keeping tenants long term is because the most expensive thing for you as an investor and as a landlord is when there's tenant turnover. Contrary to what political people would make you think, that landlords don't care about their tenants, tenants, and we're happy to replace them on a moment's notice. The most expensive thing you can do is miss out on getting rent because people have moved out, have to pay to repair, pay to paint, pay to fix up, pay to advertise, pay to show the place, pay the property manager the cost of money it is for them to find the new tenant, the application, and then getting somebody in there. And then there's the uncertainty of whether or not they're going to be a good tenant. Very, very costly, expensive, and time consuming. So the best thing that you can do is to find a property that you're going to be able to keep people in where they're not going to be pressured to move out. Obviously, move-outs happen, but the longer-term tenants that you can find, that is the best-case scenario. That's why I focus on 3-bed 2. So you've narrowed in on what type of property you're looking for, but how do you actually find it? Now, I highly recommend, as I mentioned earlier, looking at your market on a 5 days a week or even better, daily basis. I look at Realtor.com. That's all I look at. I don't look at the MLS. I don't have any special access to the MLS. I do have a real estate agent. I'll get to that in a minute. But I just look at Realtor.com. Every day I look for the new listings. I try to see what's come on. I see what it's priced at. Are the prices moving up or are prices moving down? And I've purchased multiple houses right off of Realtor.com. I see one that I like. And even though my real estate agent knows what I want, sometimes I almost always find them faster than she does. So I send her a message and say, I really like this property. Can we take a look at it? She goes out and looks at it and she gives me her opinion. Now, I'm an out-of-state investor, so I don't have the luxury of going out and looking at the properties myself before I buy them. I buy them all sight unseen, but I trust her opinion because she has good judgment and has worked with me for a long time now. But yes, you can, even in 2022, find good properties at a fair value or even under market value on Realtor.com or the MLS. It is possible. It's difficult, but this is again why you look every day, because if you don't, you're going to miss out on these opportunities because there'll always be someone else standing in line behind you ready to snatch them up at a moment's notice. Now, just because you're looking on Realtor.com on a daily basis, this does not excuse you from good networking. Another great opportunity for you to find good deals is networking. Not only do I have a property manager who manages my properties, but she manages lots of other people's properties. And guess what? Those other investors buy and sell properties. And when they're ready to sell a property, the first person they tell is the property manager, maybe the real estate agent, but they tell the property manager, who then, if you have told you're looking to buy, may go ahead and let you know, hey, this person's selling, maybe we can do a little off market, you scratch my back, I scratch your back, kickbacks, whatever it takes. You have to be networking, not just with your agent, but with your property manager, with wholesalers, with investors in the area. So I highly recommend you join whatever Facebook groups for the local Facebook group, investment group for your city there is. Indiana Real Estate Facebook group, Gary, Indiana Real Estate Facebook group. And you just want to get to know other players in the area, the wholesalers, the real estate agents, and the other investors, because everyone's buying and selling, and you can easily find deals that way. I know that I found 2 that way. All right, so hopefully you've narrowed in on what type of property you want. You need to be sourcing different avenues in order to find these properties. It could come from a real estate agent, it could come from online, it could come from your own research, it could come from a wholesaler, it could come from direct mail. Maybe you're mailing out mailers. I don't know. All of them are good options, and you'll find deals through all of those different methods. You found the property, you're ready to go. The next thing you want to have, if you're not a cash buyer, is a lender who works with you very quickly so that you can give them a phone call and say, I like this property. And you want from them a pre-qual letter with that property's address and the asking price for that property, or the offer price that you're going to make an offer with. You don't just want a stock letter that says, hey, you're pre-approved up to $300,000 and you're going to give it to them and it's a $150,000 home. Because immediately that seller is thinking to themselves, aha, I'm not going to let them negotiate with me and bargain with me after the inspection because I know that they can afford to finance whatever repairs. You will lose your ability to negotiate and come back and say, hey, I'm tapped out at $150,000. You're going to have to make these repairs for me. You don't want to lose that opportunity. So that's where having a lender actually give you a pre-qual letter for that property is extremely important. And in order to get that done in a timely manner so you can be competitive in these hot markets, your lender has to be lickety-split Johnny on the spot getting you that letter. Now, I hope you're starting to figure out that this really is a team effort. Yes, you are the one who's the coach, you're the star player, you're the big shot, the one who's actually leading the team down the field. But you do have to have other people in good positions, both your agent, your lender, all of these things in working order. Otherwise, you're not going to be successful. The next person that you really want is your property manager. Now, if you have a good property manager, they'll be able to give you their thoughts on whatever property you're looking at before you buy it. Maybe they'll even go out there in person for you and look it over. But at the very least, they should be able to look at the listing online, tell you about the neighborhood, and confirm to you what type of rents they think you can get in that area. All right, to wrap this thing up, let's cover what we already discussed. We talked about determining which type of property is best for you, small multifamily or single family homes, using the cash on cash metric to make that decision. From there, where you actually start figuring out which single family homes or small multifamily are the best. 3-bed ones have been the best for me and usually are best given the fact that I've talked to a lot of different real estate investors who seem to have similar experiences. But maybe you're investing in a college town and 1-bed or 2 beds are better in your particular area. It's possible, so just get to know your market. Then you're gonna need to spend some time on Realtor.com learning and studying your market. From there, you also need to make sure you're networking with all the appropriate people so you can source as many different avenues for your properties as possible. And then once you find that property you want, you need to have a cash offer or a good pre-qualification letter ready to go with a good lender immediately so you can be competitive and relevant in this hot market. After all of that's put together, if your offer gets accepted, well then from there it's just on to the appraisal and the inspection and things like that. If you do have to waive something, that is going to be on a case-by-case basis, and I would consult with your agent and your property manager. If this video was beneficial, guys, leave a comment down below. Let me know if you've gotten your first rental already or if you're just still trying to find your first one. I'm at 8 units currently and hoping to get 4 more by the end of year 2022. So follow my channel to keep up with my journey, and remember, I'm happy to answer any questions if you want to hit me up on Instagram. Just look for Millennial Mike. We'll catch you next time.